So if you're looking for some great games to watch this upcoming week, and that is week 5 in the NBA, or you just want to see some of the best players in fantasy basketball compete, play against each other, then stick around to see what Waiver Wire Queen is watching this week in the NBA. I do give out great fantasy football content, so check out my channel, Waiver Wire Queen. If you love fantasy football, make sure you are subscribed to the Score Fantasy Basketball channel. Let's talk about what I'm watching this week coming up because there are some great games. Also, remember that I always watch Bulls because I'm a big Bulls fan. So, most times I am checking out my Bulls to see how great of a team we are because we have a great team, y'all. We definitely making the playoffs this season, all right? Let's talk about the game of the week, in my opinion. Tuesday, November 16th, we have Golden State Warriors at Brooklyn Nets. They will be in NYC playing BK. This is a box office game because you got Steph Curry and KD on the floor, and then you throw in some talented players like James Harden and Draymond Green. Triple double machine, right? Or capable of triple doubles. This should be a really good game. The Warriors have impressed everyone and surprised everyone. I think we all thought they would still be a good team, but to be the best team in the NBA and you still have Klay Thompson recovering from the Achilles and Wiseman not back yet, woo, they're a problem. They are a problem. So let's talk about some things that I am checking for in this game and some things that you should check for as well. So the Warriors are 11-1. Obviously, they have the best record in the league, and their one loss was on the road, and the Nets are 9-4. Obviously, the key performers that I am looking for, the top dogs that I am checking for, obviously, is Steph Curry. I want him to drop about 9, 10 threes. I don't know about you guys, but I love when Steph is throwing those threes up and he is on fire because it's like he's unstoppable. It's not going to miss. Okay. Just hit 9 threes the other night. Okay. Just an amazing, greatest shooter of all time. Okay, let's stop talking about Steph. We're gonna be talking about him a little more though. Draymond Green, capable of getting a triple double. He is going to stuff the stat sheet up. You're gonna see like 8, 9 points, 8, 9, 10 rebounds, maybe 11, 12 assists. He is going to play great defense as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully he can go. And then obviously Katie. I mean, come on now. KD. And then you got James Harden, who is going to give you a triple double possibly this game. And then Andrew Wiggins is going to chip in with 17 points. And he's actually shooting a good percentage this year from the field. Very shocking. Nonetheless, let's talk about some other important factors and things that I'll be looking for. Obviously, I'm expecting Curry to drop, 30? Maybe even more. I'm expecting this to be one of those games where it's going to go back and forth. Okay. Some key roles. Jordan Poole, he's averaging 17.5 points. Now, consider this. Clay is going to probably be the starter. Obviously, once he gets back into a position where he's ready to start and not on a minutes restriction or anything like that, you have potentially Jordan Poole coming off of your bench, averaging like 17 points. I know that's going to go down a bit, but that's a great problem to have. Okay. It's a damn good problem to have. Okay. I cannot wait to see this game. And then some other key players, Joe Harris, he's shooting 46% from threes, which is really good. They're going to need him to play well and hit those threes. Okay, so Joe Harris, make sure the Joe Harris this season show up, not the one from this past postseason, okay? Yeah, I'm just playing. You know I love you, Joe Harris. You know you good out there in the from the 3-point line, okay, Joe? Uh, Bruce Brown has been playing much better as of late, so he is a player to also check for. Let's see if he can be that third guy that's going to chip in with points because outside of Harden and KD, the big question is where is the scoring going to come from? LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin are way past their prime. They're going to help, but in order for BK to win this game, KD gonna have to drop about 50 points, and Harden gonna have to drop about 52. Okay. And I don't mean 52, I mean 52. So if they have gonna have a chance to win this game, they are going to have to get some help from the role players. Joe Harris is going to have to play much better, score more points. Bruce Brown is going to have one of those fantasy nights where he's giving you 30 fantasy points, and that's because he has like 15, 16 points and he's getting rebounds. So I expect the Warriors to win this game, but I'm hoping this is not one of those blowouts where Steph come out there and hit about 13 threes and BK has an off night, because the Warriors on another level right now. Okay, they just doing the damn thing. Now some key players that are MIA due to injuries and other reasons. You got Kyrie Irving. I think this game would be much more competitive if you had Kyrie available. You know, he is not going to be playing. Um, I'm not even sure he's ever going to play for BK again. Hopefully, they can figure this situation out, because I do not see BK winning a championship with the current roster, because I feel like you're gonna burn out KD and Harden again. Like this past postseason, KD looked like he was just tired. He was exhausted. They couldn't rely on their bench. I mean, you got Pat Mills, but it's still not Kyrie. So they're gonna have to figure something out, because they need that production, in my opinion, because I don't see them winning without adding another key player. Because if they meet the Warriors in the finals, that's if they even get there, it's going to be hard as hell. And BK fans will be disappointed because they will not win. I don't care if they got the best player on the planet, right? Because a lot of people think KD is still the best player in the NBA. There's some other players out there that, you may want to consider as well. But nonetheless, you also have Klay Thompson, who is out. Hopefully, he'll be able to return soon. Nicholas Claxton is out, and James Wiseman is out, but he is close. So let's talk about scoring. So you have Steph Curry averaging 28.4 points per game, and he's shooting 40% from threes, which you already knew that he was going to shoot at a high rate and make it look easy, which he has been doing already this season. Okay. Then you have Durant, who is averaging 29.4 points and 8.4 rebounds. I do feel like with Durant, he's going to have to do more scoring. And then you got KD, who's obviously doing what he normally does. He's averaging 29.4 points, 8.4 rebounds. KD is going to have to score more points in this game. This is, again, one of those nights where he's going to have to be close to 50 points, because I just feel like the Warriors just have too much firepower for them. And then you got Harden doing Harden-like things. Obviously, for fantasy purposes, I said do not panic and hold on to Harden. He's actually starting to play much better as he adjusts to the new rules and just get into the best basketball shape he can in order to compete this season. He's averaging 19.8 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 9 assists. They're going to need Harden to have one of those nights where he has about 40 points, 15 rebounds, 16, 17 assists. Is it impossible? No, it is not impossible, and it's possible for Harden to perform at that level. So if you held on to Harden, kudos to you, because he is starting to pick it up, and you knew he was going to pick it up. Draymond Green is obviously going to have a triple double this game. Okay, he's going to have a triple double this game. He's averaging 7.9 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 7.2 assists, which is really good. Okay, that is great. And again, he's going to have a triple double this game, so expect it. And then Andrew Wiggins is going to chip in with his 17 points. But the only thing is, he's going to shoot at least 45% from the field. You know, with Wiggins, you just have those nights where his field goal percentage used to be just like, ooh, I don't want him in my starting lineup. But if you have Wiggins in fantasy basketball this season, his field goal percentages is to me really good this year. So that is very good. Now the Warriors are averaging 116.2 points per game, and that is at the top of the NBA. They actually lead the NBA in steals with 10.8 per game, and they're leading the NBA because they are unselfish and they are averaging 29 assists per game, which is really good. BK leads the league in 3-point percentage with at 39%, which is really good. So Joe Harris is going to be doing Joe Harris type things and hit threes because that's what he's paid to do, hit those threes. So, like I said, Joe, I want regular season Joe to show up. I don't want postseason Joe. Nah, I get Joe. I'm just playing with you. You know how we do. No, let's stop, y'all. Now let's talk a little bit about defense. BK opponents are averaging 104 points per game, which is really bad considering the Warriors are scoring 116 points a game. So can BK kind of slow them down? I don't think so. It's just, no, you're not going to slow them down, but hopefully they are able to stay with them. Okay. That's what they need to do. And their opponents are shooting 42% from the field, which is really good for BK, and 31% from threes. Okay. Now, Warriors opponents are averaging 101.5 points per game and shooting 42% as well, and 31.3% from three. So BK has a chance to compete. They just need to find the points because whether the Warriors are at home or on the road, remember they've only lost one game this season, which was on the road, but nonetheless, they are a really good team and they're going to score the ball. So you just got to keep up with them and have the ball in KD's hands when the game is on the line and let him do what he does. All right, y'all. So another game I'll be checking for. I'll be kind of sliding back and forth and just doing what I need to do to make sure that I am tuned in with another great game that I feel is going to be a really good game. Boston Celtics at the Atlanta Hawks. Both of these teams, in my opinion, have disappointed thus far this season. And they need to get it together because they're looking real bad considering they have all of that talent. There is no reason for these two teams to have these records. We got the Hawks. They're not even the Hawks are doing really bad. I'll say they are 4-9. Obviously, they're not even a 500 team, and then the Celtics are 6-6. So they are slightly playing a bit better. I understand with Brown being out because I feel like Brown is one of those players, but nonetheless, it's not going to cut it. They're going to have to really start playing more team ball and get better chemistry and start winning some games because with all that talent, it's just a head scratcher. But when you watch the games, you can see why. But this is going to be a good game because you want to see players like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Trae Young, Collins, and Capella play. You want to see these guys out there. More specifically, I'm looking forward to seeing Trae and Jason Tatum. And now if Brown can play, I feel like Boston will win this game. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that Brown can play because Brown is one of my favorite two-way players. And I believe in his talent. And Boston, they need to start believing in his talent. And he better not be on the trading block, y'all. Nonetheless, some players who should have key roles in this game: Bogdan Bogdanovic, Danilo Gallinari, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish. Free Cam. I mean, I need Cam Reddish to be traded to a team so he's able to grow, cultivate and grow his talent and start playing more games. I want to see Cam traded to a team that he's going to have more opportunity to play. They have too many players that play the same damn position. It is ridiculous. They done drafted themselves and signed themselves into a 4-9 team, okay? Nonetheless, who else do I want to see in this game? Marcus Smart is going to be good defensive-wise. So you got Cam and Smart who are going to play great defense. You may see more of Cam this game on Tatum, and if Brown can go, maybe on Brown as well. So Marcus Smart is going to have the task of guarding Trae Young. So let's see how that goes. Looking forward to seeing that matchup within the game. And then Schroeder is another guy to check for. Robert Williams is really good. I talked about him before the season start as a player who should have a breakout season and a really good sleeper at the center spot. He is averaging 10.7 points and 8.9 rebounds. And also, Al Horford is in the mix if he's going to be available. Let's talk about some scoring. Tatum obviously is doing Tatum type things, averaging 23.8 points and 8.8 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, hopefully again he can go. He's averaging 25.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, and he's going to play great defense. If he can go, when Smart isn't guarding Trae Young, expect to see Brown on Young as well. So they got some great options in guarding Young. So Trae Young is averaging 24.5 points and 9.2 assists, and he's shooting 35% from threes. We'll love to see that go up a bit. Like, you shooting from half court like Steph, I need you to be doing 40% like Steph. So hopefully he can increase that percentage. Maybe that'll help a bit with some of those wins, because again, right now they're not even a playoff team. John Collins signed his contract. I'm a big fan of him. Woo, y'all remember that dunk? That was a dunk. That was a dunk of all dunks. I want one of them t-shirts too. Oh, I'm gonna have to get me one of those t-shirts with him dunking. He's averaging 16.3 points and 8.5 rebounds. I would love to see him more involved in the game, because John Collins can average 20 points and he should push those rebounds up to 10. I need a double-double from John Collins. I need him to average a double-double for the season. So as you can see, these guys are your top fantasy performers. So Clint Capella is another one of those players you should be checking for. He averages a double-double, 10.2 points, 11.2 rebounds, and he's going to get you at least a block per game. And he's going to be efficient from the field. So if you have any of these guys, these should be the top performers. And then you have your wild cards with some of those guys in the key roles. Somebody's going to have to step up for these teams, and it may be someone like Schroeder who will step up, especially if Jaylen Brown isn't available to play. So now Celtic opponents are averaging 108.6 points, which is extremely high, and they are shooting 44% from the field. Now, when you talked about BK, that was much lower, and also with the Warriors, opponents' field goal percentage was much lower. So this is showing you why Boston is a 6-6 team, and their opponents are shooting 32.7% from threes. So the Celtics are leading the league with 6.6 blocks per game. Doesn't feel like it's reflected when your opponents are averaging 108.6 points per game, but nonetheless, maybe that helps some a bit. And the Hawks opponents are averaging 110.9 points, shooting 46.2% from the field and 34.8% from threes. And this is why they are a 4-9 team. They're not playing much defense out there. That is just bad. And that is why they're losing games. They need to get it together. Otherwise, they're going to be out of the postseason this year. And it's still early on in the season, but nonetheless, the way they are playing, they're not playing good basketball. So if they continue to play like this, then they'll be sitting at home with us when we are watching everyone else in the postseason. And again, this is partly, in my opinion, because of poor drafting. Yes, you drafted some really good players, but we keep drafting players at the same position, okay? And you are signing players at the same damn position. You got Cam Reddish, you got Hunter, you got Bogdanovich, you got Kevin Herter, some other guy. He's a key player as well. Cam Reddish, they drafted Johnson. You have like 6 guys that play the same position. It's just too much. Like, it's just way too much. So this is, in my opinion, partly why they have moved backwards. Maybe they'll pull it off and get it together. I don't know. I don't expect it, but anything can happen in basketball, especially fantasy basketball. That's why we're watching this game, because it's going to be a fun game to watch. And that's why I picked this game, because both teams are struggling. Star power when you got Trae Young, Brown, and Tatum. So this should be a good game to watch. I'm expecting these teams to score a lot of points. There ain't a lot of defense going on, y'all. Ain't a lot of defense going on. All right, y'all, let's jump into Wednesday, November 17th, 2021. We have the Chicago Bulls, my favorite team, my beloved Chicago Bulls, at the Portland Trailblazers, playing against one of my favorite guards, Dame. Okay, so let's talk about records. The Bulls are 8-4, and the Trailblazers are 6-7. The Trailblazers, in my opinion, need to let it go. The backcourt that they have right now is just not going to win games. My boy Dame, again, one of my favorites. He is struggling, but I expect him to get it together, y'all. They ain't gonna get it right. He gonna get it together. I got my fingers crossed. And if he need me to get out there and shoot some threes for him, I got you, Dame. And I could drop some bars for you too. So we here. Nah, I'm just playing, y'all. But nonetheless, let's talk about some key performers, the top performers in this game. Zach Levine playing really good this season. No, he's playing great this season. Demar Derozan, when we signed him, when we did the sign and trade for Demar Derozan, I wasn't expecting what he's doing. Like, I expected him to play well, but DeMar DeRozan is not playing any games, and I am so grateful to have him on my side with the Chicago Bulls, y'all. And my boy Lonzo Ball averaging 12 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4.4 assists, and he's shooting 42% from threes. So that is important. He has improved, and no, he's not averaging 14 points like he did last season, but they have more mouths to feed, and he's doing the damn thing. And then we got Nikola Vujic. He's averaging 13.6 points, 10.9 rebounds. So he's giving us a double-double. And obviously, Dame is another player to check for. CJ McCollum and Norman Powell, who's averaging 17.5 points and shooting over 45% from threes. And then we got Nurkic. He is doing what he normally does when he is healthy, averaging a double-double, 11.5 points, 11.3 rebounds. Very good. Now, some key role players to check for: you got Robert Covington, you got Anthony Simmons, and you got Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is a very important player to the Bulls because sometimes they do utilize the lineup of Caruso, Ball, DeRozan. They utilize all three of those guys sometimes at the same time. Some players who are MIA due to injuries and other matters. Patrick Williams, wasn't on starting lineup. We drafted him last season. He's out with a hand injury for the season, so we've had to make some adjustments. But nonetheless, we still have a really good team that is competing at the highest level, y'all. I'm over here doing a cabbage patch, hey, because I'm so excited about the Bulls this season. Great team considering what we have done the last few seasons. So if you are a Bulls fan, come on and clap. If you're a Bulls fan, get a little clap on and just be happy that we have a really good team. Okay, we've been struggling for years and we've been wanting guard packs to get the boot. They got the boot and we are winning. Hey, all right, y'all, let me stop gloating and bragging on my team. Again, we winning, y'all, and I expect us to win this game. Okay, we got our butts whipped the other night by the Warriors, and so we still got some things to iron out. But nonetheless, really good team. Zach Levine is averaging 25.7 points and averaging 5.5 rebounds. DeRozan, again, I did not expect what he is doing. I expected him to be good, but he has been great. Okay, averaging 25.3 points and 5.5 rebounds. Dame, my boy Dame, numbers are down, I'll tell you. He's averaging 20 points and 8 assists, but his field goal percentage is really not that good. He's going to have to get that up. He's shooting 38% from the field, and he's only shooting 26.8 from threes. I expect these numbers to improve with Dame. I wonder if a Ben Simmons Dame trade is on the table. And of course, people will say, well, Ben is not on Dame's level. Well, Ben is a two-way player, and he's not the two-way players that's going to average 25 points, but he's a two-way player because he's one of the best defenders in the league, and he's still going to get you 14, 15 points per game. And get you 8, 9 assists. I just think this could be a good trade for both parties because, again, that backcourt in Portland is an undersized backcourt. And how many undersized backcourts have you witnessed win championships over the last several years? Has it ever happened? I don't think it has. So they have a lot of pride. Both of these teams have a lot of pride. Let's make this trade work. 76ers and Trailblazers. Okay, let's bring Dame to the East. Okay, and let's get Ben back out there on the court. I want to see Ben back out there, y'all. And then they also got CJ McCollum, 20 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, and he's shooting 42% from the field, which is, to me, not really good as a shooting guard who you specialize in scoring and shooting. If your main job is to shoot, I expect you to be on the higher end of 40%. I expect him to be at 45% and above. 42% is not good. It's inefficient in my book. If I had to make a trade, if I was Philly, I would want Dame. I wouldn't want McCollum because I don't feel like that's going to push their team to the next level. But I do feel like Simmons and McCollum work together because now you have this point guard who is a pass first point guard, and it just works better. And then you have a more traditional backcourt with Ben Simmons, like 6'8", 6'9", he tall as hell, and then you got McCollum, he's like 6'2", 6'3", so that works better. And then Dame is with Embiid in the East, and he's gonna improve. So let's see if we can make that happen. Let me holler at the 76ers and the Trailblazers. I need to be in their front office as the GM, waiver wire queen, GM of the year, because I'm making great trades to position my team to be better. Right? That's what we do in fantasy basketball. Don't we wish we were the GMs? We be telling these teams what to do, and we probably need to be the fans like we've been doing. But nonetheless, some other key things to be checking for in this game or to know is the Bulls are leading the league in free throw percentage at 85.6%. So this is going to come down to one of those games where it's all about making your free throws. They're leading the league, and that may be the key to the game. A lot of games are close. Okay, I do not expect this to be a blowout. So Bulls opponents are averaging 103.8 points and shooting 44.8% from the field. I would love to see that at 40. I feel like the Patrick Williams injury kind of hurt the team because you lose some of your depth, and then you lose out on a young wing that, if nothing else, is going to play great defense and rebound the ball. So you lost a really good defender, but we still have Lonzo as well. And their opponents are shooting 36.3, 36.2%, and their opponents are shooting 36.2% from threes. So got some work to do. Now, on the other hand, the Trailblazers are giving up 107.8 points per game, and their opponents are shooting 46% from the field, which is just ridiculous. That means they hitting everything. I had elbow surgery, and I'm able to get out there and hit some shots. I'm saying. So now, on the other hand, the Trailblazers' opponents are averaging over 107.8 points per game. So that means the Trailblazers' defense is not good at all, in my opinion. 46% is ridiculous when you look at teams mentioned previously where opponents are averaging 100 points per game and shooting like 41%. That's where you want to be. And hell, if you got your opponents shooting in the 30s, then you got some great defense. Okay, that's hard to do in today's NBA, but if you do have that team that is a defensive minded team, it's not impossible. Okay, and then their opponents are shooting over 37% from threes, which is just ridiculous. With Dame struggling, I'm looking to see what Lonzo Ball does on the defensive side, because he is definitely a defensive minded guard, and he is tall as hell. He's got about 3-4 inches on Dame, so that should affect Dame's shot. So in this game, I don't expect Dame to shoot at a high percentage, but I do expect him to show out for waiver wire queen, if nothing else. And Levine, I will say, Levine has transformed his game. His game is so complete. He's a complete player now. He used to be that dunker who can score occasionally, do other things. Now he's just a complete player on the offensive side. He's shooting a good percentage from the field, a solid percentage from threes, averaging 25.7 points. What more can you ask for in your superstar, your best player? And when you look at what he's doing out there, you're like, this guy has gotten in the gym and he has put in the work to be a complete offensive player, and he is improved on the defensive side. So if nothing else with Ben Simmons, if he can just get in there and just work on a mid-range game, Ben Simmons would be a scary two-way player because the defense is there. He could have been the defensive player of the year last year. But again, I'm mentioning him to show you that look what Zach Levine was able to do with hard work. And this is not to say that Ben isn't a hard worker. It's just he's not shooting that ball and hasn't prioritized improving his mid-range game, which he is capable of doing. So he's still young and the talent is there. You just got to work on some things. You identify stuff that you need to improve on. We all do that, and you work to improve it. And that's just what Ben got to do. Maybe he'll be more willing to do that once he is out of Philly. And I don't blame him. He was thrown so far under the bus. I don't even see him under the damn bus. Okay. That's how far under the bus he was thrown. And then now you want to backtrack and force him. Well, if in so many words you can come out your mouth and say, well, I don't think he's the point guard for this team, I don't think he's a point guard for a playoff type team, then you're pretty much saying that he's not our guy anymore. You can't go and say, you're not my guy, and then want to say, you're my guy. Look, once you put that doubt, especially with someone who was struggling from the field and already doubting his game, you lose a player. And they've already lost him in one aspect. And they're gonna lose him in another because at some point they're going to have to trade him. But I'm rambling about Ben Simmons, but I was saying all of that to show you that with what Levine did, if Simmons can get in there and just work on that mid-range game, he will be a consistent 19, 20 point scorer. And then when you add in 8, 9 rebounds, 8, 9, possibly even 10 assists, steals, and blocks, you have a dangerous player. Okay. I tell you that he's one of the players I always target in my fantasy drafts, but obviously I couldn't do that this season. But nonetheless, my Bulls gonna win this game, y'all. What y'all think? Y'all think the Bulls gonna win? I know the Bulls gonna win. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to find out my reaction of this game, because I'm going to do a post-game reaction of the Bulls at the Portland Trailblazers. So let's talk about what I'm doing on Saturday. I'm sitting back watching LaMelo ball out and beat the Hawks, because that's what's going to happen. I'm expecting the Hornets to beat the Hawks. So the Hornets are 7-7, a 500 team, and the Hawks are obviously below 500 at 4-9. Hopefully they will figure it out by the time the postseason hits. Hopefully they can move forward. So some top performers to be checking for, and these are the key players in fantasy basketball as well, because these are the top dogs. Obviously, LaMelo Ball, Scary Terry, Miles Bridges, who has just turned into a beast. I mean, he done went from someone who wasn't doing much to someone who's doing a whole lot, and they rely on him. And hey, hard work pays off is what I will say. Gordon Hayward, obviously Trae Young is in the building. I expect him to play very good. John Collins and Clint Capella. Now, some key roles. Kelly Oubre, averaging 14 points off the bench for the Hornets. That was a very good acquisition this past offseason. Mason Plumlee, another good acquisition for them. He's averaging 6.6 points and 7.8 rebounds for the Hornets. And then my boy Bogdan Bogdanovic, averaging 12 points a game. Danilo Gallinari, Kevin Huerter, and Cam Reddish are also players to check for in this game. Free Cam. I say it every time. Free Cam, okay? I think that he is going to be useful in this game to play defense on LaMelo Ball. Again, a lot of times you cannot slow down a superstar who can score the hell out the ball, but you can make it a bit more difficult. You don't want to make it easy, okay? which means he may not have a high field goal percentage at the end of the game. And maybe they'll win this game. But no, I am going to say that um, the Hornets will win this game. Some players that are going to be MIA due to various reasons. PJ Washington, hopefully he'll be able to return by then. He is a key player off the bench. Um, let's talk a little bit about Miles Bridges and what he is able to do. He's a top 10 fantasy basketball player right now. It's still early in the season. Do I feel like he's going to continue to do what he's doing? Apparently, he is the guy. They believe in him. He believes in himself. And he put in the work, and you're seeing it. I don't care if this is a contract year. They always say, oh, players, they play well when it's contract year. Okay, we do have to also take into consideration that Miles Bridges was never the starter, and he was playing inconsistent minutes. Him and Melo just have a connection that you cannot deny, especially when those alley-oops are involved. And they play very well together. So I'm expecting to see some alley-oops, some dunks. I'm trying to see it all this game. It's going to be an exciting game with Trae Young jacking the ball up, hitting threes, and then Melo making some fancy passes to Bridges. So let's talk about the scoring in this game. Melo's averaging 19.6 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 7.2 assists, which is very, very good. So you know that there's potential for Melo to have a triple double in this game. I did say that he is capable of averaging a triple double, and you can see that with his current season averages. Scary Terry is averaging 14.7 points, and he's not shooting a great percentage from the field, but nonetheless, he's going to give you those points. Miles Bridges is killing it. He is killing it, shooting a really good percentage from the field, averaging 21.5 points and 7.3 rebounds. He is playing out of his mind. He's having a career year, and he's going to get paid. I don't know how much he's going to get paid, but he's going to get paid. So if the Hornets ain't willing to pay him, somebody's going to pay, and they're going to end up having the match because, again, that connection with Melo and Bridges is undeniable. And Trae Young is going to do Trae Young type things. He's averaging 24.5 points and 9.2 assists. I'm going to say he's going to have a double-double, and hopefully he's able to shoot a much higher rate from threes because he's only shooting 35%. I'm hoping that percentage can increase a bit for the season. And John Collins is going to dunk on somebody. I expect it. Ain't this great? We're going to see Bridges dunk on Collins, and then Collins going to dunk on Bridges, right? It's going down. Somebody going to dunk on somebody in this game. Collins is averaging 16.3 points and 8.5 rebounds, which is really good. He is capable of averaging a double-double and at a higher rate, 18, 19, maybe even 20 points per game and 10 rebounds. I need to see it happen. And then obviously Clint Capella is going to shoot at a high percentage. He's averaging 10.2 points, 11.2 rebounds, and he's going to block somebody's shot. Just not Miles Bridges' shot, because if you do try to go up there, you're going to get dunked on. So don't even do it, Clint. Don't even do it, y'all. I want to see somebody get dunked on in this game, though. Some key things to know when you're tuning into this game is that the Hornets are averaging 113.8 points per game, and that's second right behind the Warriors. However, they are giving up 116 points per game. That's why they losing. You giving up more than you can score. That's just they're gonna have to get better at defense, because right now their defensive averages are really bad. Their opponents are killing it against them. And that's also because they are a fast-paced team, but nonetheless, you cannot average 113.8 points per game and be giving up 160. You're not going to win many games. So they're going to have to correct that. And your opponents are shooting over 46.7% from the field and 35.1% from threes. That is ridiculous. That's not good. That's a bad defensive team. I'm trying to think of a player I can just think about on that team that is a defensive-minded player, and I don't feel it. I don't see it. I'm looking and I don't see it at all. They're going to have to get that under control. Otherwise, they're going to continue to keep trending downward like they have been doing as of late. And then the Hawks opponents are averaging 110.9 points per game and shooting 46.2% from the field and 34.8% from threes, which means that They don't play good defense, which they haven't done all year, which is why they are a 4-19, and they need to play better defense and get John Collins involved. And again, I feel like they need to make a move because they have too many players who are playing the same position. So somebody's going to sit on the bench. Like, you figure a guy like Cam Reddish, he could be playing more minutes because if nothing else, he's going to get out there and play great defense and maybe hit some threes. 3-and-D type guy. But when you got Herter, Hunter, Gallinari, who else? Bogdanovich, the young rookie Johnson they drafted. They just got too many players that play the same position. And you also got Lou Williams, so I'm guessing is going to play shooting guard, but he don't get a lot of minutes. But what I'm trying to say is they got too many players that play the same position. So it's just inconsistent. And I don't know if they thought that just because they went deep into the postseason last year that's going to be the case this year. That it's not, because there are some teams that are at full force and that have gotten better, and barring any major injuries, they're going to be able to beat the Hawks because of two things: defense and consistency. So the Hawks might have to figure it out. All right, so let me just go back and just tell y'all who I got winning these games before we wrap it up. So Golden State Warriors at the Brooklyn Nets. I got the Warriors winning that game. Y'all let me know who you think's going to win that game. What y'all think? Obviously, the Bulls at the Portland Trailblazers. I ain't going against my team. Now, a season or two ago, I still wouldn't go against my team, but we probably would lose. But we're going to win this game because we have a good team that's playing winning basketball on most nights. And then we have the Hornets at the Hawks. Obviously, I'm going to go with the Hornets in this game. So those are the 4 games that I will be checking for this week. And I want to see how these players do in fantasy basketball. I expect Steph, one game this week, if it's not the BK game, to go off for at least 45 points. I mean, it's still unbelievable. He had over 80 fantasy points. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for the team who had to endure that, but you most likely didn't win. But nonetheless, it happens when you have a player like Steph Curry. All right, so those are the games that I'll be tuning in, watching this week. I really want to see what Steph Curry is going to do against BK because I feel like he's going to have a really good game. I feel sorry for any team that had to endure that 84-point performance fantasy-wise from Steph Curry. If you were playing against Steph, most likely your team is struggling because that is hard to overcome. One player scoring 84 points, that's very hard. Sometimes 2 players will do that for a team and you have one. So it happens, though, when you have one of those top 5 players on your team, or if you're competing against a team with a top 5 player capable of scoring the points. But nonetheless, I want to see what Melo's going to do this week. I really need to see if Dame can step it up a notch. And then I'm obviously always checking for LaMelo Ball. I want to see a triple-double in this game versus the Hawks. All right, y'all, let me know who you think is going to win these 4 games. Make sure you hit the like button and you are subscribed to the channel. I can't stress that enough. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can continue to see great content on fantasy basketball and just NBA talk in general, and some DFS I'll be throwing in there as well. So if you are playing any DFS for fantasy basketball, then tune in because I'm going to give you some great advice to help you win. All right, y'all. Peace.
Thanks for listening to The Score Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to The Score for more fun and great advice on how to win at fantasy basketball. And if you've got comments or questions about The Score, send them to waiverwirequeen@gmail.com. The Score.